Hey up folks, I bet you thought I'd gone, didn't you, and done one. I'll tell you where I've been sorting all my life chaos out because it's gone crackers, but in the meantime, what are you looking at, pal, sat on that bench? You're looking at my fancy new river that I did with PVA and rushed it and half ruined it. So have a look then. I mean, to be fair, being brutally honest, it doesn't actually look too bad on camera at this angle. It actually looks half decent, but in reality, in that room, it looks half ruined. So you'll have to make your own mind up what you think. That looks like it's got a bit of a flow on, doesn't it? So yeah, better than dry riverbed, I suppose. And that is what it is. It blends a bit better because it's got a bit of a shine to it. And then if you look at the one in background, what's on picture where it goes uphill a bit, that's got a bit of a shine to it. So yeah, it kind of looks half alright there. Who knows though? It's just got a bit of a white tinge to it. It's not as bad as it was, but it's not going to get any better because it's been about 3 weeks now. So that is what it is. Where have I been then? I'll tell you what, I've been so busy. This is the first time I've been at loft. I came up today. I thought I'm going to have to go up, even if it's just for an hour. And to be honest, because it's been stood now for at least a good month, it's kind of needs, track needs a bit of a wipe over, I think, or some wheels need a clean up. There were a couple of running, you'll notice a couple of spluttery lights. I just couldn't be bothered going up and doing a cleaning job on it, so I thought I'd just run some trains and give a bit of honesty, because they're not all singing and dancing all the time, either. You've got to do a little bit of upkeep on them sometimes, and that's what it is. So I've got dirty new 47s pulling Raker coal wagons, and here it is from first person perspective, if I can get my words out. And I've got to say, I'm going to do some close-ups of that 47 in a bit, because it's got them little painted stripes on wheels, and it's only loco I've got with them, and I'll tell you what, they don't half look alright. Even cameraman here, he's got some right lean angles on to get these shots, but yeah, it's alright. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to run a few trains, I'm going to give a few updates, I'm going to talk about where I've been, and I'm going to talk about some future plans. And look at that, see how he's leaning back there, look, he's about to fall off, he's like doing a Matrix move, how he's leaning there. But yeah, it's all good, he's a professional. And I know he's gone over the fence where it says danger, but as long as he keeps off at tracks, I'm not overly bothered anymore with him. He don't listen anyway, and the security team can't get hold of him. So it is what it is. But look at that for a lean angle, he's done alright, hasn't he? So where have I been and why has there been massive delays? Right, it all starts when I went on holiday. You know, when I went on holiday, so I gets in my car, I takes all my family to airport, right? Because last year we paid 350 quid for a taxi to East Midlands Airport there and back. And when we landed coming home, we rung taxi up saying, where are you? And he's like, oh yeah, are you landed? Yeah, I'm on my way. And he was clearly on his settee at home because it took him over an hour to get to us. So we decided, no chance is that going to happen again. I'll go in my car, which is an estate car, so it's big enough for us. So we crammed all suitcases in it with a bit of a squeeze. And there were me, my missus, my young'un, and my mum and dad come with us. So there were 4 adults and a kid in car. And it were all going swimmingly down towards airport. Premium lounge and all that, you know, that escape lounge where you get free food and drink. And I was right excited, couldn't wait. Anyway, we get 10 mile to airport. It's note but 50s at minute on M1, you know, with roadworks, 50 mile an hour. So I'm sat in lane 2 out of 4, 50 mile an hour. Got an HGV outside of me, 50 mile an hour note in front of him. So I'm just minding my own business. And next thing, he's obviously either scratching his leg or he's on the phone or he's doing something he shouldn't be doing. But he's absolutely just ploughed into me. And my missus is screaming. It's on M1, absolute chaos. So I pulls over, outside of my car's busted. It's a Polish lorry driver, doesn't speak a word of English, so it was just chaos. And from experience, I know that if you knock about on motorways after an accident, chances are you're going to cause a second accident. And if you survive first one, chances of surviving next one goes downhill big time. So I text a quick photo of his number plate, gets his ID, and gets on my way to airport, and that's that. So anyway, just showing you, just sidetracking a minute, Mini Owners Club. I've tried expanding that today. I've just missed out on an auction for one by a penny. I'm gutted. It were a nice one. I've not seen it before anyway. And what's he doing online still there? I've told him before, can you get down there, security, and get rid of him? I'm going to up my game with security now. They're not going to get away with it like they did towards the end of season 1. If they carry on slacking, they're gone, especially them twins. Anyway, so gets to the airport, we has a good holiday, I forgot all about it, gets back, picks car up, drives home with wing mirror dangling off bike wires and all that business. And I decided, because it was 100% his fault completely, I'll just go through insurance. So car goes in to repair place, and I've got no car, and I don't get a courtesy car even though I'm fully comp, because I didn't select one on my policy, but it weren't my fault, so I should have still got one. But because it's a foreign lorry, basically, until they admit liability, you don't get one, and they wait 6 months before they draw a line under it as to who's liable. So basically, I were up the creek. Anyway, I gets a phone call after about a week, just waiting for parts for your car on back order. No worries, gets a call a week later, still waiting for your parts, still on back order. So I'm like, well, can I just ask how long back order's likely to be? And woman on the phone, she laughs at me and goes, oh, I'll tell you what, we've got cars here that have been waiting a year for parts on back order. So I'm like, oh, great. So I basically just decided to write that car off in my head and sort of send another car out, which is half a juggling business I've had. And not much after I've sorted the car out, they rigged me and told me the car's now fixed. So all that nonsense about waiting a year was just obviously to get me to get off at phone. So it was just rubbish. So then I've been messing about selling car. I've also decided to flog my motorbike because I've not put mileage on it. And to be fair, having a near miss on a motorway made me think twice, because I thought if I'd have been me on my bike, I'd have been splattered and dead. So apart from that and juggling everything else, getting Libby back to school, etc, that's where I've been. And it's just been a bit crackers, and it's still a bit crackers. I've still got loads of sorting to do, but I just haven't had time to go up in loft. So I apologise that you've not got your fix. So since my last video, when it comes to going in loft, all I've done is moved a couple of figures that had fallen over and stood some back up, and moved a couple of minis around, and not done much else. And let's just have a second look at this water. It don't look too bad on camera. There's a few bubbly bits, look, but I'm not convinced. Anyway, we're going to get Stripe put back away, and oh no, what's gone off here now? Look, they've got another fatality, but it looks of it as he fell off that ladder. This is like Ladderman all over again, and that's not even set up. That's legitimately fallen after about 6 months up there. So he weren't that good a climber. Did any of you lads see it? No? I don't think so. Luckily that guy's Polish, so my insurance won't cover him for 6 months, so he ain't getting a payout, just like I'm not getting a payout. Just on a side note, Annie's caffe's doing alright still. She survived summer shutdown just about. He's still having a good beer look. Australia World's not doing so good though. It's about to go in administration, I think, because figures have dropped through the floor since that giant lizard escaped, and it's half at creatures anyway, and it's just not selling tickets. So I think I'm going to have to scrap that, and I might rent it out to some horse people and get some horses on there. I reckon them Backman Scenecraft horses will look alright on that little section, won't they? So on my last video I mentioned that I went and met up with Hilton from Proper Chuffed and his missus at Goland Station. So what I thought I'd do, I waited for him to release his video to see if he talked about it, and he didn't. He mentioned it briefly, but he didn't go into much detail. So what I thought I'd do is tell you a little trick I pulled on him when I met him. Because obviously I never show my face on my video, so he had no idea what I looked like, and I had a good idea what he looked like because I see his face on his videos. So basically, it were a good plan that we had that kind of went a little bit pear-shaped, but we got away with it. So we agreed to meet at about, I think it was 10, let's say it was 10 o'clock. So I gets to Goland. Bear in mind, I live in UK, and I've been to that place before, but I had no. And I don't even know why I thought it, but I didn't even consider that there'd be no phone signal. And when I say no phone signal, none at all, not even one bar of anything. So I couldn't text him that I were here, and he couldn't text me, so there was no communication. And I think he said his train will getting in at something like 1:15, but I'm pretty useless at paying attention to stuff like that, so I kind of half listened and half didn't, so I had no real idea when it was coming in. So I gets to the thing, parks car up, walks down to the station, no sign of a train. So as I walk up thinking, have I missed train? And I looks in all these little shops. Luckily, it's only a tiny village, so there are a couple of cafes and a couple of shops. So I'm looking at gift shop, and they're looking at me like I'm some kind of shoplifter, because I'm clearly not looking for goods, I'm looking for people. Anyway, I went down to the train station, he still weren't there. I went back up and I went down for the third time, and I thought I'll give it another half an hour and then I'm going to have to knock it on the head and think we've cocked up here. Anyway, just as I'm walking down for the third time, I sees him walk out with his missus. Just on a side note, I'm just going to get Cavalex out now, Cavalax, and I need to get Grot out at the way on left. So Grot's going to move to the left, Cavalex is going to run his sending old red buffers. Got a couple of wagons on back and we're going to get him out. So yeah, so I sees him stood near this bridge, so I thought I'll walk over and I'll scope him out and I'll just be absolutely stupid and freak him out a bit. So what I did is, I walked over without paying any attention to him and had my phone in my hand. And there was this brick wall in front, like a big, maybe 20-foot brick wall in front of me. So I started looking at this brick wall like I'm into brick walls. And I could see he'd clocked me, and but he'd paid no attention because like he didn't really know what I looked like. Anyway, so I'm looking at this brick wall and I'm pretending to take photos of this brick wall while Hilton's looking a little bit gone out in background. And I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll just speak because he'll know my voice. So I'm just looking at this brick wall with him and his missus probably thinking they're about to get murdered. And I just, because it's meant this brick wall into it, and then it was quite funny. I've probably done it no justice, that made me laugh anyway. And then yeah, we met up and whatnot, and that was that. I don't know if that was a good story or not, but to me it tickled me a bit. I'll tell you another one that tickled me a bit as well. I says to him, I says, I'll take you, because we're on about going to the model centre. So I says, I'll take you, no point walking because it'll be a bit of a trek. So we gets in the car and I had no signal. He had a tiny bit of signal, so he basically put model centre in on his sat nav on his phone, and we went. And when I was at home, I'm sure I looked and it was showing about a mile or 1.6 mile away from Goland station. And anyway, we're driving, it must have been about 9 or 10 mile, and it were a rate train. Anyway, we gets there and I thought, wow, you'd have never walked that. So we did his shopping and whatnot, and then we were going back, and again we sat-naved it, and we'd only been driving about 30 seconds, and I'm like, oh, look at that, that looks like that bridge where it looks the same bridge as Goland. And then we realised it was, and basically it was just right next to Goland station in first place, and his sat-nav had sent us a complete wild goose chase. Instead of saying turn left and it's half a mile down road, it said turn right and it's a 10-mile loop to get to where you could have just gone left. Which is quite funny because I've never been there before. So yeah, so he basically owes me 30 quid's worth of diesel because I'm not paying for his mistakes. Anyway, I've sent Ladderman across. He's gone over to South Africa now. He's going to get me, he reckons he can get me some bottles of Scotch whisky from this new distillery that he's going to try and get a job at. A Scotch distillery in South Africa. I've never heard out like it, but he reckons he's going there and he's going to get some bottles, so hopefully I'll get a bottle sent through post and that'll be decent. Anyway, Red Buffers is just reversing out now. I've said to you that my track's not right clean at the minute. It's just been stood forever, so it's I think every time you leave them for a good few weeks that they must oxidise or something. I might be talking nonsense making it up, but to me they do, and whatnot. And my Backman's especially, I mean, that brand new one that's that 47 weathered, it was struggling like crazy on this today, even though it's brand new. I suspect it's probably got a bit of weathering on wheels as well, but it is what it is. But I don't know if any other, oh my God, I can't even speak. No, I'm just going to leave that in. If anyone else has noticed, I don't know if you have, these Cavalex, basically they just run absolutely superb. No matter how grotty track's ever got, that train absolutely is faultless. It stays consistent and smooth. I've never had it stall, I've never had it splutter, I've never had it do anything. Even the Cura scale, when track gets absolutely hacky, even with stay living, they just go a little bit inconsistent. You know, at speed they'll might slow down and speed up a little bit once in a while. But that Cavalex, absolutely rock solid, and that is why to me they are head and shoulders above everything else. It's just a shame that they're a little bit more pricey, but I personally think it's worth that extra because they are next level good. I think they're a level above everything. So on that note, I reckon that Alex bloke or that Cavalier SRI bloke or own company, I reckon if they sent me one of them new Class 60s, because Richard's an absolute letdown. I've never got that 37 Colas. I mean, how many times can you hint at someone for one of them and they let you down? So, could have even got it at the back door, Richard, couldn't you? I know you're listening. and you'll never admit it, but we could have sorted a rate deal out, and you could have come and played at Liberty Junction, but it is what it is, isn't it, I'm afraid. That ship sailed anyway. Cavalex are going to send me a 60, and it's going to be well decent, and then I'm going to shout it to the world. So, I've not been up in loft, but I tell you what I have been doing. I've been having a little fiddle about when I've been sat here at night, just kicking off. Hang on a minute, it's kicking off here. Owner's out, security man's there. He's not happy that we've got these nuclear flasks just dumped on sidings at railway. He's not happy at all. There's that one there, and there's one near car spares shop where minis are, and it ain't good, because who knows what they're leaking out. Anyway, what we're on about? Yeah, I've been on old Any Rail software doing a few track plan ideas, and I mean, I've never made it any. Hang on a minute, let me just get my words out here. I've never kept it a secret that I don't particularly know what I'm doing here, and it's all just a bit of a fluke. I've got this, and people follow it. I don't really follow railways and know much about railways and all that and whatnot. Look at that for a shot though, that was nice, wasn't it? Beautiful. So yeah, I've been doing this next plan because I fancy doing something else now. I fancy doing another layout in garden in a bit of a shed, which is going to take forever, but it's a bit of a project. And it gives me something to do a bit more filming with and talk about and whatnot, and we'll see what's what. So anyway, on that subject, what I wondered is, I've got a couple of options with shed size that I'm going to build. I can either do it about 3.5 metres wide by 8 metres long, because you've got 30 metre maximum for permitted development, so you don't need planning permission. So I can either do it that, or I can do it 3 metres by 10 metres. So I've been working a plan out for 3.5 by 8, but I don't know if I prefer the idea of 3 by 10. What's your thoughts and opinions? Is 3 metres going to be enough for some nice curves? Do you think it's going to be good enough? And originally, like I said last week, I was going to do it as a bit of a training room. Not last video even, not last week. Bit of a training room with a gym in the middle, but I've scrapped that idea, and I'm going to convert my garage, half my garage into a gym, so that'll satisfy that little craving. So I just need to decide what to do, whether I do it a loop all the way around perimeter, or if I do something in the middle, or what, I'm not sure. So yeah, that's that. You see flickery lights, then that one's stalled. I think basically it just needs a good old clean, this old track. So yeah, I've got a couple of things I'll put on the end of this video, because I don't want to just start spoiling it with boring plans in case no one's interested. But I thought I'd show you Hilton's little Lord Hilton train again. And look, it's weathering a bit, because I quite like it, especially that front end bit of grottiness there. Quite like that, Hilton. I quite like that. I do need to adjust CV settings on it though, because it's a little bit crackers movement on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy, because it's the same era as my old Rail Freight 37 red stripe. I'm going to copy settings exactly, and I'm going to hope that it's all the same stuff, so it just mimics that one, because I love how that one runs. And here's the 47, and this is what we're on about. I was trying to get some nice close-ups, and it just kept stalling, because I don't know if it's wheels or track or a combination of both. So I ended up cutting it short, and then I ended up, look at it there, stuttering. So I cut it off here, and then I just cleaned all the wheels and put it back on, and then it were alright. So I don't know. So I can't decide, just jumping about in the conversations, whether to do my new layout as a single loop with a decent sized train station at part of it, and then a little bit of an area of interest on another part of it with a single line running. You know, with a load of scenery, a bit like a Scottish type line or something like that in Ireland. Or whether, just look at them stripy wheels in a minute when I get that going again. I'll just zoom in on them. I think they look absolutely amazing with them stripes on. I don't know why. I just think detail on them look fantastic, and that weathering's just a right good job. It's I'm going to start. I'll tell you what I'm going to do with my next weathering. I've not got no thinner left or anything, but what I think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to get a load of that Vallejo Model Air and try and weather with that, rather than doing all that enamel with thinners. Because I tell you what, I do that spraying and I don't even put breathing apparatus on, and I know it's fully naughty doing it, and it can really do you some damage, but I just can't be bothered with all that breathing apparatus nonsense, so I just do it without a mask on, and then I end up blowing my nose with black bogies for about 3 days. So yeah, if I go in Model Air, that should be a bit better, because it's just like water-based, isn't it? Anyway, I'll get to end of this story in a minute. So that's end of this video done. I thought I'd end it how it started. So we're back in river, just having one last look and see if that bloke's still having a look, and he's still having a look. What do you think to it, pal? Is it any good or is it rubbish? Nice one, thanks for your input. Right, folks, if you don't want to see these planned stuff, you can get your sends off if you want, but this is one of them. Look, so it's 8 metres by 3.5 metres. So I've got a bit of a station running full length at 8 metres at the top, which is going to be massive, enormous, with some tunnels. A bit of a lake or a lock on left-hand side with a bridge over it. And I'm going to show you a bit of an idea from a photograph where I thought I need to replicate that. So this photo here, I thought if I can get that with some background mountains like that, a bit of a modern looking bridge, and a sheet of glass type lock where you can see reflection at train going over it, how decent's that going to look? And then, like, if I do a single line like that where it's nice and rusty with trees and whatnot, I just think that looks really good. And if I can replicate something like that, that'd be decent, won't it? So that's version 1 of my idea. Second version is this one here, where it's like a double loop, but it's very samey, isn't it, to other ones. So if any of you's got any rail and loads of time on your hands and you want to put in 8 by 3.5 or 10 by 3 and do some plans, and email them to me at doubleodave@hotmail.co.uk, then that'd be super awesome, wouldn't it? Because then it's like you're doing my job for me. While we're at it, looking at that, we could also run something down middle, couldn't we, and have it with a bit of a dead end section. So anyway, that's my plan for today, and I think I've achieved all them, do. So thanks for watching, thanks for staying till the end, and see you next time. Awesome. Cheers.